Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. What does it say there?
Hello. Are we on? We're live.
I think we're live. Well, we definitely are alive. Our bodies seem to be working. Hopefully we're alive on Facebook as well. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. If you just like to just click some button there to tell us that you're there. We like to know that we're talking to some real people on the other side, and we love the hearts. So if you give us a few hearts, we love those as well. Yes.
So tonight we're going to be talking about discovering what's real.
Discovering what's real?
Yeah.
In what area?
Mind, body and soul.
Mind, body and soul.
Mind, soul and spirit. That's what we said.
Mind, soul and spirit. As long as we know what we're talking about tonight.
Good idea, hey?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And what's real in your life? In fact, what is real within you? There's a question we're going to look at tonight. There's a wonderful quote that I use on every single workshop and retreat that I run. In fact, it's on the bottom of the manual. Those of you who've done the workshops before, you can go and run and get your manual, and you can see on the front cover is this quote. It comes from A Course in Miracles. Most of you will probably know A Course in Miracles. It's a thick book like this, which I've never read, but I seem to have the essence of it. And on the bottom of my workshop manual is a quote from that book, and it says, "Nothing real can be threatened, and nothing unreal exists. And therein lies the peace of God." And what is being said there? Nothing real can be threatened. And if you think of your lives, you think of everything that can be threatened. I mean, your home can be threatened, your livelihood can be threatened, everything can be threatened. But something can't be threatened. And that's what we're going to be looking at tonight. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. And happy Mother's Day to all you mothers. Whether you're mothers of human babies or furry babies, I'm going to classify you all as mothers. And in a way, we're all mothers.
Yeah, some of you have got husbands that you've got a mother. So
Exactly.
there's a mothering going on there as well.
But we're all creators, you know, all of us.
Yeah,
So we all nurture and give birth to things all the time. So on some level, this is all for all of us, even you.
I'm a mother.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Yes, happy Mother's Day. It's a really lovely day to honor something so special in life, that bringing into the world a new form, a new life. It's such a sacred process. Really is a sacred process.
Yeah.
I have 4 children of my own, and 3 natural my own natural children, and one an adopted daughter. And I was at the birth of all 3, and it's such an amazing experience. Very, very sacred to welcome a new soul back into the earth arena. Really special. So, yeah, happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Yeah.
Great. Are we going to tune in?
Yes, I think we're going to start this evening the usual way. We'll just start by centering ourselves into this place and this time right now. I know we've all had a busy day. Maybe we've had Mother's Day lunch all by yourself,
Or with family.
or with family. Hopefully family came around. Yeah. So let's just withdraw our mind from everything that's happened today and everything that we're projecting, that we're thinking about tomorrow. Let's just bring our mind into the present moment. And the way that we always do that is we gently shut our eyes and we become aware of what is real right now in this moment. We become aware of the body. And the body is such an amazing portal into presence, into reality. Because the body is here, now, in this moment. And we have 5 senses, and through those 5 senses we can connect with reality as it is just in this moment. So just quietly rest your awareness inside your body. Become aware of your feet on the floor. Become aware of where your hands are pressing. Become aware of the temperature of the room on your cheeks. Become aware of all the sounds that your ears can pick up right now. You can hear my voice, but what other sounds can you hear? Just for a moment, listen to the furthest, faintest sound that you can hear right now. And as you do that, become aware immediately of the stillness that happens inside you when you really listen. Let's practice that again. Listen to the faintest, farthest sound without labeling it. Just listen. Maybe it's the hum of the fridge far away in another room. Maybe it's sounds from outside. Just listen. And notice the stillness that arises within you when you truly listen. Become aware of the most sacred gift we have, which is the breath. Take a deep breath into your belly button, blowing your tummy up like a big ball. And then release. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. And another deep breath into your belly button, blowing it up like a big, big ball. And then take the air right down to your toes. And then as you breathe out, relax your shoulders and your neck muscles. Just release any tension there. Just let it go. Another deep breath into your tummy. So you're pulling your diaphragm down, you're pulling your tummy out, you're taking it right down to your legs, you're taking it up into your chest, and then a long sigh out. Just let it go. Long, long, long sigh out. Let it go. And as you do that, just see yourself letting go of all other times and all other places, and just resting gently into your body in the present moment. So with your eyes closed, just rest in your body on the chair that you're sitting on, being thankful to have the support of the chair under your bum, with the backrest supporting your back. Just settle down into the present moment fully, listening and being aware of the body's impulses, the body's sensations, and just allow what is to be in this moment. If there are any pains in your body right now, just notice them and allow them to be there. If there are any thoughts in your mind, just notice them and allow them to be there. Just completely surrender to what life is in this moment, just this moment. And notice how life breathes you. Right now, life is beating your heart. Life is digesting your food. Life is sending the blood down every single little capillary in your body and oxygenating every single cell in your body. Every cell in your brain, every cell in your little toe is being serviced right now by life. What a miracle. What an absolute miracle. So as you sit here and surrender, have a sense of gratitude for this incredible intelligence that orchestrates your body. Now take another deep breath into your belly button, drawing the air right the way into your legs, up into your scalp, and then a long, long sigh out. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes, and as you open your eyes, just become aware of how you feel emotionally right now sitting here. How do you feel emotionally right now? And you may like to just type that into the comments box, how you feel right now. Do you feel at ease? Do you feel peaceful? Do you feel maybe a bit of tension? Just note that. That's fine. There's no right or wrong in this. It's just feeling how your body feels. It's good to connect with the body. Such a wonderful, wonderful sacred gift, and we need to connect with it with our awareness, because that enlivens the body. Brings back to balance the parasympathetic with the sympathetic nervous system. Brings back to balance our endocrine system. Synchronizes so many functions in the body when you do that process. Doesn't take more than a minute or two. But your body is far healthier right now. So thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's lovely.
Yeah. So hello to all those new people who've just entered this live, Facebook Live evening. And we celebrate all the mums tonight. And tonight we're going to be looking at what is real. What is really real. And what is really real right now? We don't know. There's so much fake news going around. What's real? We don't have a clue. I think people are more confused now than they ever were before. Do you think so? Yeah. I heard a wonderful woman being interviewed this evening on London Real. What's her name? Candice. What's her name? Sure. She gets. We get quite a nice group watching us tonight. But she says when she goes on Facebook Live, she gets 10 million people watching her. So she's a bit more popular than us.
Just a bit.
Young black American girl. She must be in her 20s. But she was saying about conspiracy. She said there's a whole story going around at the moment that we all locked down in our houses so they can change the batteries in the pigeons. So there are lots of stories going on. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, what is real? So tonight we're going to be looking at the mind and the soul and the spirit. And we're going to be looking at the differences between them all, because those are three concepts that seem to overlap and confuse people. And I know that words are just words and they mean whatever you mean them to mean. But it's nice to have a sort of common understanding for these words and the way we use them.
Yeah, I think so too.
So mind, what do you think of mind?
Well, mind is form, isn't it?
It can be form, yeah. Mind, all form is mind. And, you know, I've said before on this that if you go back 80, 90 years when quantum physics was first sort of unveiled to the world through Max Planck and Niels Bohr and Albert Einstein and a few others, I think it was Max Planck when he won the Nobel Prize in 1930-odd. He won the prize for his research into solid matter, into real matter. And at his acceptance speech, he said, if there's one thing I've learned about solid matter, that is that matter isn't solid. He said, matter is not real. He said, matter is not real. He said, all that's real is mind. Now, that was a physicist, wasn't an esoteric guru teacher from India. This is a physicist saying that what is real is mind. And what he was meaning from that is that there's a field of energy that he called mind. And out of that field of energy, all solid form arose. And Albert Einstein, the other quote that I use from him is that the field is a sole determinant of the particle. And that's quite a confusing quote. But what it's saying, there's a field of energy. And it is the only determinant of what shows up in the physical world. So the mind, we can say, is pretty real. It's very, very real. There is a confusion, though, between the brain and the mind. There's a big confusion there.
It's one word and it doesn't describe the differences.
Yeah.
It's like love.
Like love, another word. You know, the English language is very, very limited. It's a technical language, but it was developed for other times.
Yeah, and mind is not localized in your head, in your brain.
That's the secret. You see, mind is, because it's determined from a field, a field is non-local. And what that means is that a field is everywhere all at once. If you have a magnetic field, it's everywhere all at once. You know, in a certain, depends how strong the energy is. And mind is the strongest energy that we have in the universe, the strongest energy, and it's everywhere all at once. All at once. Gravity is mind. How about that? Gravity is mind. The smallest particle, they were trying to find the Higgs boson particle. They found, well, it wasn't a particle. What was it? It was a field of energy, a field of consciousness. And so mind is everywhere. However, we have a brain. And that brain, it's about 1.4 kilograms of grey jelly that sits on our shoulders. Except for you ladies out there, it's only 1.3 kilograms apparently. And I've been told before that size matters, so we know that the males are obviously, we obviously brighter than females because we have a bigger brain. What do you say about that?
Does that make you happy?
Well, in fact, at my age, my brain is considerably smaller than 1.4 kilograms because from the age of 50, unfortunately, from the age of 50, and males' brains atrophy quicker than females. So after the age of 50, generally women have bigger brains than men. So size doesn't matter. Size doesn't matter. And that brain is not the creator of mind, is not the creator of consciousness. It can be thought of as a receiver and a transmitter of consciousness, a receiver and a transmitter of mind. The same way that you have a television set and, there can be a lush presenter sitting there on TV, and if you open the TV and try and get hold of them, they're not inside the television set. It's just a receiver and today a transmitter as well, because we know these smart TVs are transmitting stuff all back to the CIA. Oh, we know about that. So it's a receiver and a transmitter, the same way the brain. The brain's a receiver and a transmitter, and they've gone inside the brain, and they've gone down as a tiny little, I've forgotten what they call, little tubules inside the brain, trying to find consciousness inside them. They find nothing. The smaller they get, they go into the quantum field, and they find it's not local at all. It's not localized inside the brain. Your mind, your memory, for example, is not inside your head. There was a fascinating story that I came across a few years ago. There was a kid working at a department store, and I don't know what happened, but the owner, it was in the middle of the night, and the owner mistook him for someone breaking in and took a shotgun and blew away his head. And I think 90% of his brain was blown away. And they rebuilt the skull, they put a special titanium whatever, and that kid, with only a tiny fragment, 10% of his brain left, he went on to get a college degree.
Yeah.
And it was amazing because this memory came back, and they find that memory is non-local. It doesn't sit inside. It's rather like cloud computing. We can connect into memory, but it's not inside the brain. The brain, however, does break down. We get Alzheimer's, we get dementia, and the brain becomes less and less efficient as a receiver and a transmitter of information.
Of taking and receiving those messages.
That's right. But it doesn't mean that consciousness is any way less than. Just because the receiver is not operating correctly. It doesn't mean if you put your television set off, it doesn't mean that the signal's not there. It doesn't mean that the radio station closes down. It doesn't. It's just a receiver and a transmitter. So the mind that I'm talking about is non-local. It's everywhere all at once, and it makes up this chair, it makes up this table, it makes up the camera that we are using tonight, it makes up your body, and it makes up every living thing around us.
Yeah,
so
and that's how we feed into the field all the time.
Our thoughts and our emotions, which we focus through our mind, our brain, ripples into the creative energy. And I know next Sunday we're going to be talking about the creative energy. We're going to be using Michelle's going to be sharing with us some of her ideas on creativity and how we can use our thoughts and our emotions in creative endeavors in ways that the left-brainers of us are really limited in that. And we find that the amazing intelligence that comes out of the right brain, which is the creative brain. And so our thoughts and our emotions are interplaying with this field moment to moment to moment. And you can alter physical reality by altering your thoughts and your emotions. We know that.
Well, we do all the time.
We do all the time.
Constantly we alter our physical reality with our thoughts.
That's right, yeah. And I know that Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about, if you know him, he's an epigeneticist, and he talks about how we can even change our genes by changing our thoughts and our emotions. That's amazing. And this is not new science. We've known this for a long, long time, but it hasn't been fully accepted into the world because we love to live in a Newtonian physical universe of separate objects, and we're separate. We're in the universe, and we're just a victim of circumstance. And that is not true. We are directly connected to the creative process of the universe. Our body, for example, is a solidified thought pattern. That's what the body is. And that's why you have miraculous healings take place. Because when you shift the mind, you shift the body.
Yeah, it was like the Anita Murjani, which many of you may have heard of her. She was hospitalized with terminal cancer and all her organs were shutting down. It's a really, really fascinating story if you haven't listened to her. She's on YouTube and she's written a beautiful book called Dying to Live.
Dying to be me.
Dying to be me, yeah. And she talks there because she basically goes into hospital and she goes into organ failure and she leaves her body. She basically dies to a degree and she leaves her body and she has this incredible experience, comes back into her body, very short, long story cut short, and she's healed completely and utterly.
Yeah.
No sign of cancer. And I mean, the cancer, she was riddled with cancer.
Well, she had 27 tumours from the base of her skull all the way down her spine. These were the size of lemons, 27 of them. She had millions and millions of cancer cells throughout her body. She'd been fighting this cancer for 4 years, been in and out of hospital. And her liver had shut down, her kidneys had shut down, so there was no way the body could process the cancer cells. They couldn't do it. But with this altered experience that she had, and this is really in alignment with what we're talking about tonight, she connected with something more real than her body, than her individualized thought pattern. And she then brought that new awareness, the new consciousness back into her body, which then was 38 kilograms, emaciated and dead, basically. And within days, the cancer cells completely disappeared.
And in these reports, the oncologists...
Well, it happened in hospital.
We're kind of going, this is not possible.
No.
It's absolutely not possible.
Yeah.
But she completely shifted in that experience, which then shifted her physiology completely.
Correct,
Yeah.
And she realized, I mean, she says in her book, which is Dying to Me, which is a book I highly recommend, she says she realized what caused her cancer.
Stress.
She said one word, and that word was fear.
Yeah, stress.
Fear, false evidence appearing real, which creates the stress. And we know that stress is at least 70 to 85% of all cancers are caused by that stress.
Yeah.
And it is the fear, the false evidence. Now that false evidence is a misidentification of who we think we are. You know, we think we are, she was a Hindu, for example, and it was in Hong Kong, it happened in Hong Kong. And so she was a lesser than, because in her religion, females are less than males. And also she turned down an arranged marriage, which made her even less than that. And then she fell in love with someone outside of her religion, and that made her even less. So she had all these fears building up inside of her. And I'm saying it went back even before this particular lifetime, but she carried that and it manifested in a dysfunctional way in her body. And when she left her body, and the beauty in this book is she described what happened with so much clarity.
So much.
And now you see, we use language in a linear time-based way. That's that horizontal plane, and we only know language in that linear way. But when you go into the vertical plane, language is completely inadequate to describe what that experience is like. You can't describe things in the vertical plane. For example, love. Love is something you experience in the vertical plane. And does anyone understand love? Nope, I don't think so. Because nothing in the vertical plane can be understood. It can be directly experienced and felt. And so she went into this other realm where it was totally in love, totally in the vertical plane. And she experienced that reality. And she said, I realized my true magnificence in this vertical plane. And then she comes back, and in her book she describes it pretty well in a horizontal way.
She does.
She does.
Yeah, and she just realized that everything was connected. She could see how everything was connected and that there was nothing to worry about. That was her big thing, because she was a warrior. She was anxious. She was stressed. She was an A-type kind of driven personality. And she came back and she realized that there's nothing to worry about. It's all okay. It's all supposed to be happening exactly like this. So just enjoy it, because there's nothing to worry about. And she said she battled to actually then worry about stuff. People would say, but aren't you worried? And she'd say, no, I'm not. I can't be, because she's seen it. So that really helps those of us who do worry, because she's seen it firsthand. And many, many other people have had similar situations.
Yeah.
And
So you can look up Anita Moorjani if you haven't
she's wonderful.
already watched her. I've got a couple of clips on my website. And she is an amazing teacher now. She really is an amazing teacher. She was found by Wayne Dyer and sort of got her published. And she fell under his wing for a while. And it's a very good. I'm pleased that you brought that up because she connected to something more real than her body, and she connected to something more real than her mind. That is the truth, and she saw that as her true magnificence. And when she directly connected to that, the physical world changed. Her body changed.
Shifted.
Yeah. So mind. Again, I'm just going to just summarize it. Mind is the energy out of which all physical form is born. The planets, the stars, the solar systems, the bed you lie on, the chair you sit on, the food that we eat, that all comes out of a field of mind. And we all participate in that. Every thought, every feeling we have is a co-creation process. Yeah. And our thoughts and our emotions are very powerful at interconnecting with that particular field. And one of the strongest, most debilitating emotions and thought patterns that we can have, the most anti-life, is this fear. And we discussed last time about shame is the most anti-life emotion. Yeah. So, and that all comes under fear. That all comes about fear. And then we go into pro-life feelings and thoughts, and that comes at courage. And then from there we go to acceptance. And then if we go up and we go to what's the next one above that? Forgotten that. It's a sense of connectiveness. And then we go to joy. And then we go to love. And these are all higher thought and emotional patterns to have in life. So generally, the anti-life thoughts come below courage as anger and regret and guilt, and all of those are below. And you can look at Dr. David Hawkins if you want that map of consciousness. Very, very interesting to see that. But our thoughts and our emotions are definitely interacting with the physical universe around us and creating not only our current experience but also future experiences. And there's no wrong or right in any of this. Don't judge anything. Don't judge disease as wrong. Disease isn't wrong. Disease is just another experience. And we're here for experience. That's why we're here. We're here to have the richness of life. It would be completely boring if nothing ever happened. Can you imagine? If there was no up and no down, how boring life would be. You know, we love, for example, we live here in the Western Cape, and right outside our back here is the mountain. We've got a beautiful mountain here, and on this side we have the lakes. And we have such an incredible contrast here, and that's what makes Cape Town one of the most beautiful cities in the world, because of the contrast. And same with our lives. So, you know, the bad experiences are not wrong experiences. They're just difficult experiences. And we need those. I mean, have you ever seen a mountain without a valley?
Yeah, it doesn't exist. And I mean, any painter, any painting is only a good painting if there's light and dark. It's not good if it doesn't have, it's chiaroscuro, I think they call it in Italian. It's the play between light and dark. And that's what life is. It's a play between light and dark. But we tend to get absorbed by this darkness and this fear, and kind of overtakes us. And we see it as wrong. Whereas actually it's a play. It's a constant dance, really.
It is a dance, yeah. And the purpose of dance isn't to get anywhere. The purpose of dance is just to enjoy the step you're taking now. It's to fully be with what is now. That's the purpose of dance. And life is not, it's getting somewhere. It's enjoying and bringing your full awareness into what is being gifted to you in this moment.
And that's where we get into fear, because the fear comes from, what about the future?
Correct.
What's going to happen? And it draws us into that future. You know? And that's exactly what it takes us away from what's real and takes us into illusion. Yeah,
because what is real is tangible. It's right here, right now. The mind, on the other hand, deals with this falseness, this yesterday and tomorrow. And most of us spend a lot of time in this matrix, as I call it, in our mind. Most people spend very little time in presence. And an awful lot of their lives actually are not even living. It's in yesterday and into tomorrow. And, you know, it never happens. I remember going into a pub once and seeing a little sign that says free beers tomorrow. And I came back tomorrow and free beer. No, it says tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow never comes. That's the absolute truth. you only ever experience life in the present moment. And then, the other thing from Anita Majani, just what you were saying about worrying, is she saw the perfection of life. She saw this magnificent tapestry of life unfolding perfectly for everyone's richest experience.
Yeah. Even the difficult stuff.
Even the difficult stuff, yeah. And that really brings us to the next part of tonight, is to look at soul. What is soul? What is soul?
It's something that's not very understood, actually. I don't think soul.
Yeah, because we have words for something that isn't physical, and we try and attach a physical word to something that's not physical, and we don't really understand that. So my understanding of soul, and it may be different to yours, but my understanding of soul is a collective of unbalanced preferences, judgments, emotions that is individualized in a bubble. We call it a soul. And that bubble transcends the physical body, and in fact it's far bigger than the physical body and expands into time beyond the physical body. And soul is a condensed mind in the same way that your body is condensed mind. Soul is condensed mind, but a more refined form of condensation. So it's like a cloud as against a mountain. And the soul is a vehicle for our experience. The same way the body is a vehicle for our experience, the soul is a vehicle of our experience. And you can have a vehicle, but you're not the vehicle. So you can have a body, but you're not the body. And I mean, one way to absolutely prove that you're not your body, none of you are wearing the same body that you were wearing a year ago. Every 8 months, every single cell in your body has died and has been replaced. So if you want to know how many meat suits you've had this time around, just take your age and divide it by 8 months, and you'll see how many meat suits you've had. You had lots, and you're still here, although your bodies have changed. And soul is also a vehicle. You have a soul, but you're not the soul. So if we can look at the bigger picture of things. So soul, before the physical universe existed, we had, and it's a long creation story, so I won't go there, but we had these bubbles of mind that started to solidify into separatenesses. So they could have a me and the other sort of relationship forms. And then these globules of mind further divided into individuated souls. And eventually these individuated souls came into the third dimension and started incarnating in physical bodies. But even when you are incarnate in a physical body, so in other words, your soul is here in your body and it's animating the body. It's the part of the mind which transcends the body, but it occupies the body at the same time. Only part of your soul incarnates at any one time. Your soul is too big to fit in any one body.
Yeah.
And other parts of your soul incarnate in other bodies. And they're called your soulmates. And a lot of people are running around trying to find their soulmate because they're so convinced that when they find their soulmate, all their needs are going to be met. No, it doesn't work like that. So let me just use a different example here. You have a body, and inside the body, I don't know, there's something like 70 trillion cells. I haven't counted them. I don't know if anyone else out there has counted this number of cells. We have a lot of cells in our body. Each cell is you. But each cell is performing a different function. I mean, the cell in the fingernail is performing a different function to the cells in the heart. But they're all me. They're all part of me. And so it is with our soul. We have about, say, 1,000 different soulmates. And each one of those form the fabric of experiences that we have. So the person that you're in an intimate relationship is part of your soul group. They can be called your soulmate. Your children can be called your soulmate. But on the other hand, your worst enemy is also your soulmate.
Well,
how about that? They volunteered to come and play in your movie. They volunteered. They read the script. They said, no, I don't want to play that. And you begged them to play this horrible role. so that you could have this experience. And so everyone that you have an emotional connection to, here's the key, everyone that you have an emotional connection to is more than likely part of your soul group.
Yes, absolutely.
Over time.
Absolutely.
Now you can change soul groups as your vibration raises. If your vibration raises to the extent where it's no longer in a sympathetic vibration with your soul group, you will then be attracted out of that soul group and you will migrate to another soul group. So they're not fixed. They're very nebulous. They do change from lifetime to lifetime, but they are very they have a longevity. They have a huge age. You know, they're not just constricted to a human life. You know, human life is very, very short. It's less than the blink of an eye. And so souls go on, and they occupy other planes of existence, other planets, other frequencies of vibration, but they're still made of mind. And just remember, they're made of polarized energy. And a polarization is you have a positive and you have a negative, and they form a dance with each other. That's why, you know, your worst enemy is part of you, because there's a polarization between the two of you that is trying to be played out lifetime after lifetime. This lifetime you kill them, next lifetime they kill you, and next lifetime they're your mother-in-law. And it's a pretty incestuous soup of experiences that we have with our soul group.
Yeah, and you see that in astrology charts. You actually see very often when you look at family charts and you know, mother and daughter and father and son and cousins and close family, you can actually see the connections in the chart. So you can see that this was a plan, that these two were going to come in and they were going to play out this little dance together on this level this time.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
and this is why it's so hard to try and work out relationships from this lifetime. You can't. I mean, some people you instantly gel with.
Yeah, and instantly can't stand.
And other times you're so repelled by someone. And there's no logical reason in this lifetime. I mean, you know, you can go to school for 12 years and mix with people and never ever see them again. And someone else you can meet just for 2 minutes and there's a lifetime connection with them. Have you ever had that experience?
And it can also be that you have no intention of meeting that person, or that you know, I had a situation when I was in my younger, so I was 20 or thereabouts, and I got this very, very strong feeling, and it was very strong, that I had to go to a certain place one night, and met somebody, and I came back and said to my mom, I met someone who's going to change my life, and he did, not in a good way, but the reality was that he was in my soul group, and part of my journey was to realize that he was very much a part of my journey. If it hadn't been for him, most of my life wouldn't have played out the way it played out, because it all goes back to him. But it wasn't pleasant. So we usually say, oh, I met this wonderful person, he was my soulmate, he made me feel good. Well, this one didn't at all. But I was like pulled by the nose to that place. I really was. I did not have a choice that I was going to be there, because I needed to meet that person, because he needed to come in and do what he needed to do, that I'd agreed with him that he would do. And that also, for me, that really helps to actually find acceptance, because there's nothing to really forgive them, because it was agreed on before we came. So there's nothing to forgive if you go to that level.
Yeah.
You can just see it as part of your journey, and without it, you wouldn't be where you are, and wouldn't be who you were. Yeah. So you'll meet the right people that you've made the plans to meet.
That's right.
Before you came.
And there's I saw her on here earlier, Katie Aylett. Are you still there? And she's a wonderful friend of mine from PE, and she's such a wise lady, a Greek lady. She came to South Africa when she was 16 for an arranged marriage, not even speaking English, never met the husband, how about that? And she's had a very rich life, and she has a lot of wisdom inside her. And she says, you know, when anything happens to you in life, she says, well, it's in your diary, and you wrote the diary before you came here. So you can just think about that, all the bad things that have happened, the things that should never have happened. Hang on a minute. Maybe, just maybe, your soul wrote a diary, a play, a manuscript for your life before you incarnated. And maybe it's your creation. It's not just happenstance. You're not a victim of life. And if you start to see the world that way, boy, it eases those stuck emotions in you, those regrets, those guilts, those angers, those non-forgivenesses. They melt away when you start to take a soul's perspective on your life. And to know, as Anita Majani did, that everything is perfect. I had, when I was 5, apparently I had a near-death experience. I don't have any conscious recollection of it. I was in Zimbabwe at the time, and apparently I died in hospital. My mother prayed and prayed, and I came back alive again. But I'm convinced that I, with my humanness, reconnected with something much greater than this world, and I came back with that. And from the age of 5, I've had that yearning. First of all, a yearning to go home originally, and then it was a yearning. Well, it was a yearning to understand the true nature of this reality, and that, I believe, came from me reconnecting with my soul, with a higher energy, and then coming back into this earth again and seeing the unreality of this. Because I've always, right from a child, I've seen that this is not real. This is not real. There is something more real than this physical world. It's not that you don't take it seriously, you do. There's a wonderful saying. It says that when you understand that nothing matters, and yet everything matters, you've got it. And there's that paradox there. So yes, it is important. What you do today, what you think today, and how you treat others is really important. But ultimately it's not. It's part of a dance. It's just part of a dance. So don't take life so seriously.
Yeah, so this situation that we find ourselves is also part of the perfect plan.
It's also a dance of souls. We have no idea. We have no idea.
Yeah. We do. You know, it's sad. I saw somebody there saying they're feeling sad. It can be really sad to see what's going on for people, just on a human level. So we can feel that emotion, but on a bigger level, this was going to happen. So therefore, it should be happening.
Yeah. For the greatest enrichment of our souls. Think about that. We're not being punished. There's a greater enrichment here. There's a balancing process. Things have gone out of balance and they need to come back to balance. And this is part of our soul's balancing process. Yeah. We're not victims. We actually signed up for this. And I think it's an honor and a privilege to be incarnate on earth at this time. It is a real honor because we're going through a time of massive transformation. And in that is great opportunity for soul healing and soul growth.
Yes.
So
it is that.
Yeah, so to come back to, so soul is solidified mind. It's part of the realm of mind. It's part of, and it connects with the physical universe in a very real way.
Just one thing, the higher self, that would be part of the soul, right?
Well, the higher self is a term again. It's It, you know, your remember, only part of your soul. So the way I came across this many years ago, I was talking on the radio show, Kate Turkington, and I described reincarnation. And this idea came to me that if you have a fish bowl and a goldfish bowl, and you take your fingers and you dip them into the bowl, and say water comes up halfway up to your fingers there. Now, from the tip of the finger looking back, there would just be a glass ceiling because there's like a mirror. And so these fingers are in the goldfish bowl, and the goldfish come along and they label each one. They gave that one a name Peter, and that one Mary, and that one Bruce, and that one John, and that one Martha. And there's 5 individual entities in that goldfish bowl, and they all interact. But the moment you remove your hand from the goldfish bowl, you realize it's all one. It's all one. And so that is us. That's our soul. Our soul is one, incarnating in different bodies at the same time. Not all. I mean, you might find in one lifetime you may only have a few soulmates with you. Other lifetimes you may have a lot of soulmates with you. So that's the way soul works. But was there something else on
was that higher self thing?
Oh, the higher self, yes.
The higher self.
So a lot of your soul is not incarnated, and that is a guiding energy, a guiding mind energy, guiding you in this lifetime to see that you fulfill your dharma, that you fulfill the purpose of coming here, which is normally to balance energy. I mean, that's really part of the major part of our soul contract, is to balance energy and to serve with as much love in each and every moment. I say when you ultimately leave your meat suit, I say that yes, there is a judgment day. You judge yourself. You look back on your life and you say, you judge it in 2 criteria. And the 2 criteria are, did I love fully and completely in each and every interaction? Could I have loved more in each and every interaction that I had?
Yeah.
And the other one is, did I serve with love? Or was my serving out of a fear? Was it there to meet my needs? Did I do in order to get myself and my needs met, and my family's needs met? Or did I serve out of love for the whole?
Yeah.
Because my definition of love is your sense of oneness in your awareness, your sense of connectivity with everything around you. And so I believe that, yes, we do judge ourselves on those 2 criteria, but it's not a harsh judgment. It's just like, yes, you've been through that. Now, how can I do it better next time?
Yeah.
So that's really what the soul's judgment is not, it doesn't condemn you. It doesn't condemn you at all. And so part of that is not incarnate, and that can be termed your higher self.
Yeah.
But above that is something even more perfect and more pure. And that we give a word and we call it spirit. And spirit is that part of you that isn't individualized. Your bodies are separate. Your souls might have a certain less dense separateness. But spirit is non-local, completely non-local. It never moves. It never goes anywhere. It can't go anywhere because it's not in the time-based reality. It is beyond time. It's in eternity. And spirit is still at one with the divine, in whatever form you want to see the divine. It is still at one with it. Where the soul is separate and divided and polarized, spirit is not separate, it's not divided, and it's not polarized. There's no positive and negative in spirit. It's pure, it's one. It's just an isness.
Yeah.
So the word for it is isness. And we are that. We are that in purity right now. In the same way that a drop in the ocean is the ocean. It's just a perceptual. It has a membrane around it. The drop of water has a membrane which separates it from the ocean. But it is, in fact, the ocean.
Yeah, or spark of light.
Spark.
You know, so there's the light and there's a spark of light. There's the ocean, there's a drop of the ocean.
Yeah.
So we are the spirit, we have a soul, we have a body, we have a mind.
Yes. And so this is what Anita Majani recognized when she, because what happened with her is because her suffering was so severe, so huge, she completely gave up. So when she left her body, now when we leave the body, we take our story with us. You know, we cart the story with us and we recreate new realities based on our story, based on our preferences, based on our judgments, based on what we want and what we don't want. We recreate this world over and over again. But she didn't, because what happened is her suffering was so bad, she completely surrendered her mind, her preferences, her judgments, and she went into the vertical plane. And so when she left the body, she didn't enter into what's called the astral planes. We can talk about them on another night. There are many astral planes. And she went into the pure state of awareness, of consciousness, which is, we have the term, we call it light. She went into that. Now, most often when we leave the body, there's the light there, the beautiful, pure light, and we turn away in fear because we know that to enter that light is complete dissolution, dissolvement of the personality, of the ego. And most people want to hold on to their preferences and judgments. They want to rather go and meet Aunt Mabel, who died a few years before. And so those preferences keep us locked in the astral planes. And she didn't. She completely gave up. And she went into the pure state of spirit. And that is where she gained her non-local, non-time-based awareness. And that squeezed itself eventually. Her consciousness squeezed back into this plane on purpose, because she needed to be a teacher in these times. Yeah. So that spirit, that essence, is the purity of who you are. It's not something you're going to become one day. It's not a process that unfolds in time. You are that right now. You are that magnificent. That is what is real. Because what is real doesn't change. What is real can't be threatened. You are that timeless essence of the divine. That's called being. And you are the human being. The human part is the changing part on the horizontal plane. The being part is the timeless essence. And the other word that we can use to describe that is love.
Yes.
Is love. And that is real. That is the ultimate reality. In the same way that you have darkness and you have light, but darkness is just merely the absence of light. It's not real. And this world is just the absence of love.
Yeah, that's a good word.
There was a wonderful quote which I heard on the internet. Eckhart Tolle was talking. I was watching an interview of him, and there was a wonderful quote that he gave, and it came from a book called A Course in Miracles. And I don't know if any of you have studied The Course in Miracles. Wonderful book. I started earlier with a quote from the book. And this is a quote I've never heard before, but it was beautiful. Those who would let illusions be lifted from their minds are this world's saviors. I'll read that again. Those who would let illusions be lifted from their minds are this world's saviors. And I mean, when we use the word savior, I mean, the first sort of person that comes to mind is Jesus. He's known as the Savior. Wouldn't you agree that this world's illusions was lifted from his mind? And that's the process that we're in right now. This is a wonderful, wonderful process. It's a case of the apocalypse happening now. And the word apocalypse is exactly that, for the illusions to be lifted from our mind, for the veil to be lifted, and that which is hidden to be revealed. Yeah. And so we're going through this wonderful process, and we then, as we let go of these illusions, this false evidence appearing real, we become the saviors for the world.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. And I mean, that is what's happening, because the illusions that have lived there all along are coming to the surface, which we've been talking a lot about over the last few weeks. And so those fears, those anxieties, those belief systems, those things that we've carried around forever are really coming up. And I mean, you know, you spend your time in one place for 6 weeks, stuff's going to come up, and you're going to see your illusions. You're going to see your mind. You're going to see it strongly. And so I think it's just to be compassionate with yourself and to be loving with yourself when those things come up, because they are coming up so that you can see them, so that you can see beyond the veil.
Yeah, that's so true.
You know, that is what they've got to come out of hiding. So, you know, those, whatever those feelings are that are coming up, that's part of it. So
and this part, this is the lifting of the veil, is for us to be more accepting and loving of the world. It's the veil that separates us, it keeps us locked in fear. But as we lift the veil, our hearts start to open more. And maybe you're feeling this, maybe you're feeling your heart opening more. And that is an acceptance of what is. And really the first thing that needs to be accepted is you. And your dark side, and your emotions, and your fears, and your anxieties, they need to be loved. So it starts here. Love starts here, and then radiates out. It doesn't get done. You don't do love. Here's a new one. You can't actually give love. Love can't be given the same way that if you're a drop a drop of water in the ocean, you can't give water. Water just flows. Love radiates through your heart into those around you in a no-doing process. We want to do love. Love is something you do. It's not something you can make. You can't make love. You radiate love. You clear your mind. You lift the blockages that prevent love from flowing. That's the work that we're doing.
Beautiful.
I think we're going to do a little bit of meditation now.
Yeah, we'll
Shall we
just
do
close
that?
with that.
And release some of the blockages to love. Shall we do that? And those of you who want to join us on Wednesday, we'll be doing a meditation, a half-hour meditation on Wednesday from 7:30 till 8, and then we'll join you again next Sunday. For an hour session. And
Okay. All right. So let's take a nice deep breath in. Shall we turn this off? Let's turn that off. Okay. So just getting yourself comfy.
And if you've enjoyed tonight, just leave us a comment, tell us where you're from, and give us a nice heart or something like that. We love that. and share this with your friends. Yes.
And also, if you can put in the comments anything that you'd like us to talk about. That's also a good idea. Yeah. So now it's just settling in, making yourself comfortable. It's really important to make yourself comfortable. Just settle into the chair or the bed or wherever you are. Take a nice deep breath in and a releasing breath out. And just allow yourself to settle. So another deep, beautiful, long, slow breath in. And a slow breath out. On each out breath, just relax your body even more. So let's just take a nice deep breath in. And on the out breath, just drop your shoulders. And as you drop your shoulders, you just automatically start to feel softer and more relaxed. Just noticing that breath coming in through the nose and out through the mouth. And just putting all your attention on the breath. So allowing yourself to just breathe naturally, no forcing, no trying. So allowing life to breathe you. And noticing just how effortlessly that happens. You don't have to do anything. And as you notice your breath, you might have some thoughts coming in. The mind might be giving you something to think about. So just notice those thoughts and then bring your attention back to your breath. Put your full attention on the breath going in through the nostrils, that little place where the breath goes through, and then where it comes out. Feel the temperature of the breath, the rhythm, your natural rhythm of your breath. Listen to how the breath sounds. Feel what it feels like in your body as the breath moves in and out. And notice how very little doing is needed. So just continually returning to that which never leaves you, which is the breath. If you find your mind wandering, you just very gently bring it back to the breath. And each time you do that, you soften your body a little bit more. And you drop further and further into that vertical plane of the present. There's nothing to do, nowhere to go. And as you allow yourself to just drop into this place, as you allow the mud to settle, feel what you feel in this moment. Notice. Just become aware of what you're feeling. Feel what you feel in your body. If thoughts start to come back in, you bring your attention back. Let's use the breath today, just to the breath. And now breathe into your heart center, the core, a place where love flows from and to. And just open your heart, soften it and open it a little bit more. Put your shoulders back a little bit so you open it up even more. For the love to flow through you, all the way through. You're the conduit. From above your head all the way down through the bottoms of your feet. And connect with that heart. Imagine a spark of light nestled right there in the middle of the heart. This is who you are. This is what connects you with all that is. And as you focus your attention on this light in your heart, send it out to somebody who needs it, somebody who could do with some light and some love. Be the tap. Let the light and the love flow through you to somebody else. And then let's send that light and love out to our country, to our country's leaders, that they may open their hearts more, and to the world, and to the world's leaders. And to all those people that need some light. And bring your awareness back now, gently, slowly. Bring your attention back to your breath. Take a nice deep breath in. And a releasing breath out. You can rub your fingers together. Feel your body again. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Michelle. That was beautiful. It really was lovely. Wasn't it good? How do you feel now? More centered, more connected to the real essence of who you are? Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. So I'd like to leave you with our weekly ritual of giving an affirmation that you can use to shift your mind a little bit. So I have this pack of cards here. And Michelle, would you like to choose one? She's chosen a sort of purpley violet one, haven't you?
Yeah, it's lovely. I live my life as if there is no next moment. Therefore, I find fulfillment now. That's really good. I love that. I live my life as if there is no next moment. Therefore, I find fulfillment now. So there we go, people.
Beautiful. I'll photograph that and put it on the Journeys of Awakening WhatsApp group, which you're welcome to join. And we do put posts of our talks and inspirations on that WhatsApp group.
Maybe just put the link on this for the group.
Yeah, I'll put it on my Facebook page just when we finish tonight.
Yeah, it's a broadcast group, so there's no chats or anything. It's just basically the broadcasts.
Yeah. So thank you for being with us tonight. We're building up an energy and a community, and the light from this community is part of the solution to the world's darkness. So it's important that we share this message. If you enjoyed tonight, please share the link and share the message, and just press the like button, because it increases the visibility of this evening's Facebook Live program. Thank you, and we look forward to having you with us on Wednesday night for another meditation. Stay blessed, stay safe.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.